All right, everybody, good morning. Happy Sunday. I hope your paper writing is going exceedingly well. This first video is just going to be kind of a review over what we did on Friday with the MLA formatting, with the MLA citation, and I have had a few questions about the in-text citations. This video then will be followed by another video where I do a quick walkthrough how to turn in your essays. So if you remember everything from Friday, a lot of this is going to be review. I'm on a Mac, and so it may look a little bit different than what you're using on your Chromebooks, but the nice thing about Google Docs is it looks pretty much the same wherever you're using it. MLA, remember, is in Times New Roman 12-point font. If you just open Google Docs, this is going to say Arial, and this is going to say 11. And so the first thing you want to do always is make sure you're in Times New Roman 12-point. Most MLA papers are going to be double spaced, and so if you do remember that from last year, this paper, UT, is requiring you to do single spaced. They're purposefully asking you to break the rules. You are not going to be punished for that. This is actually what they're looking for. Remember that for this paper, nothing goes way up here in the header. Nothing goes up here in the header. Your heading goes on just the normal first line of the page. It's your first and last name, the name of the course, which in this case is RHE 306, Rhetoric 306, and then the date that you're working on it or the date that you are submitting it. The heading, you can do the normal United States way of August 24th, 2018. I'm going to highly encourage you to get into the mindset of MLA, which follows the rest of the world where we do small, bigger, biggest, day, month, year. We do skip one line, and then we have our actual MLA citation. Usually, and I've had people ask this question too, which is a great question, usually this occurs at the very end of the paper. This first round of papers, they are wanting to see this at the very top because they're going to be grading this. One of the first things they look at is what article you're doing and did you do your MLA citation correctly. This is exactly correct. You will get full 15 points if yours looks like this. I'm just going to go through it real quickly. We have the last name of the author, comma, space, first name of the author, period, space, the title of the article in quotation marks. MLA tells us that we should follow whatever capitalization the article does. In this case, the article does capitalize every word. We're going to do the exact same thing. So we have the title of the article, period, close quotation marks. We do another space, and then we have the title of the publication. In most cases this year, these are going to be websites, magazine articles, newspaper articles. You may pull in a tweet or two, and you may have other kinds of documentation, but for the most part, many of the things we do are going to be something like the New York Times, or the Washington Post. You could even have the Kerrville Daily Times if you wanted to, the Austin American Statesman, the San Antonio Express News, the Houston Chronicle, Dallas Morning News. You can tell I've seen these titles quite often over the past year. This is an italics. There are two ways to do italics. One is, again, to highlight your text. There's the I up here. That will turn it italics and back. If you like shortcuts, on my computer it's Command I. On yours, I believe it's Control I. You can play around. There's no way to really mess it up. There is a comma after. And if you'll notice the slant of my little cursor there, it will go back to straight when I do the comma because my comma is not italicized. You do a space, you do the day, space, month, space, year, period that the article was written. Then you do the word you do a space, and then you do the word accessed, which means what day did you actually read that article on this website. In the future, we're going to add a few things. I think there's maybe 2 things we'll add to your later articles to RS2 and RS3. For this one, most people, it's probably going to be 23 space August space 2018 period. That's it. That's all you have to do for big points for UT. We do skip one more line, and then we start your essay. And I'm just going to type up some stuff. This is my essay. It is going to be awesome. And I found some great quotes for my summary. You'll notice there's a lot of things wrong with this because I have tons of opinions which you're not going to have in yours. Again, I'm just typing stuff for the sake of typing. In one case, the author stated blah de blah de bloop. I had several questions from students asking about in-text citations. Where do I put the paragraph? Where do I put my end text punctuation? Most of the time, and pretty much anything you've ever written up until now, you put your end punctuation and then you do your close. In this case, you're going to hold off on your end punctuation. So close your quote, open parentheses, PAR. Let's say this came from paragraph 22. Close it. Then put your period. Your period signifies the very end of your sentence. If you put your period here, all of this is floating out in this ether of space, and that's not going to be good when UT grades your papers. So make sure that your end punctuation goes after the parentheses. This also applies if you're continuing the sentence. So maybe this isn't the end of my sentence. I was going to put a comma there. I'll say blah, 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 comma, and the article then goes on to provide examples of the blahs, the bleeps, and the bloops. So here's kind of what it looks like, and if you look at Mackenzie's paper, she does a pretty good job with this. You do not need the author's name on this one because you're only doing one article. As we go later in the semester, you will start adding the last name of the author and paragraph. But that won't be for another month to a month and a half to 2 months away. Generally speaking, the way you've typed things, you indent using the tab button. Don't hit space a bajillion times. You hit the tab button once and it automatically formats everything for you beautifully. UT does allow on this paper for you to just enter twice. This is my second paragraph. That's perfectly fine. If you're in a situation where you're at the bottom of the page and you're starting to go on to 2 pages, you may think about going back and then adding your indentions and making your paper look like a normal paper. This is up to you. UT will give you credit either way you decide to do it. Again, if you have any questions, please shoot me an email. I'll be checking my email throughout the day today. It probably won't be an immediate turnaround because I do not have email notifications on any of my devices, but I will be checking it periodically. If you're in a situation where you're not going to be able to turn it in today, that's fine. Hang tight, work on it. We'll turn it in class tomorrow. And the next video link will be how to actually turn it in and submit this article. And I will stop this one right here.